So Dragon Ball Super episode 11 aired today, and it was a great episode. I'm sorry. I was sitting there like, wow, this is probably the hands down best episode of Dragon Ball Super so far. And actually, it's one of my favorite episodes of Dragon Ball in general. This was just a really well written out, really well planned out, thought out, whatever you want to say. Just a really good story in this episode. This was just great, you know. So we're going to talk about it today. What is going on, Swagger Nation? It's your boy D-Free, and we are back once again with another video today. So I had to get my intro out the way. I was kind of late on that, but like I said, this is probably one of my favorite episodes so far of the series. I mean, it was just, for one, I have to talk about it. The animation was great as far as, you know, I'm not going to say it was the best animated Dragon Ball episode ever because it wasn't. But if you're gonna gripe about animation, you know, the community is starting to get pretty irritated about it. Honestly, if you have a problem with it, don't watch it. There was only one instance in the whole entire thing that I blatantly saw, and it was like when Goku was charging at Beerus in space after he came back up from healing his wound, and it was like 2 seconds, so leave it alone. Anyways, I had to get that out the way. The episode was great. It was great animation for the most part, especially on Dragon Ball Super standards so far, especially, ooh, looking at 5. Let me get off animation. The story was great. We see Goku still trying to figure out his power, and you know, we essentially, while Goku's fighting Beerus, we essentially figure out that Beerus is pulling his punches, to paraphrase what the Supreme Kai said, or the old Kai said. Beerus was actually pulling his punches. He was holding back in an attempt to make Goku bring out more of the power, so Beerus can see more of the power, to see how strong the Super Saiyan God really is. Am I the only one that thinks it's significant? I know last time I said this, I forgot who it was. Shout out to you, bro. Somebody else noticed it. Like, am I the only one who thinks it's really significant that Vegeta is watching this? It's not that he is the only one watching it. They're on the spaceship watching it. But if you notice, Vegeta's the only one that can really keep up. The other guys are like, oh, is that them? Is that them? Vegeta's sitting on the boat, and he's watching all this. And he's just like, okay. And then also in the preview for the next episode, Whis stops and talks to Vegeta. I'm wondering what he's going to say to him. So I'm going to have to parking lot that and come back next review next week. But I think that's so interesting because we know Vegeta's going to achieve the God form, and I feel like it has some significance to do something that I feel like it has something to do with the fact that Vegeta is here watching them, and he's not struggling, he's not missing a beat, he's just perfectly on pace with them. Aside from that, you know, the fight was awesome. I actually can say I like this fight a bit more than the Battle of Gods fight. Other people will probably feel a little different. Other people will agree with me. Hey, that's cool. I thought that this was a really good fight. You know, the fights in Dragon Ball Super, you have to get out your mind. They're not going to be, you know, cutthroat, smash mouth, you know, epic fights like they used to be in Dragon Ball Z, because this is just really, I don't know how much I can stress this. We have seen this stuff before. You got to be patient with it. We've seen it before because we've seen the movies, but this is really not for you. I mean, it's for kids. If you're a kid, that's awesome. If you're 13, 14 years old, you know, they wanted to make it lighthearted. They don't want to have people getting stabbed, etc., etc. Like, freaking, they will never show, I guarantee they will never show something like Dr. Zero did to Yamcha. That will never happen again. They're not going to show that dark stuff, and like Frieza getting sliced in half. They're not going to show that shit. It's just, it's not, I mean, it's lighthearted, so you got to get out your mindset that this isn't like Dragon Ball. If you like Dragon Ball, you prefer that, that's up to you. I mean, it's too early to judge Dragon Ball Super at this point by those standards, but just the sooner you realize it's not going to be like that, the sooner you'll be able to appreciate what Dragon Ball Super is at this point. And now that takes me to my next point. We did see Beerus essentially pierce Goku. You know, that brought up because, you know, Yamcha got pierced, but Yamcha's piercing was epic. It went like literally all the way through. But anyways, Beerus pierced Super Saiyan God Goku in space during the climax of their fight, and he fell down. He was like, hey, you're not the one I was looking for. A case of mistaken identity. I was like, ooh, that hurts. That hurts my soul. He said it was a case of mistaken identity. He pierces him. Goku falls down, and he falls into the ocean, if you will. And I thought that was pretty cool too. It's been a while since we've seen them under ocean. But you know, he's like, wow, this guy is so strong. I can't believe I didn't know somebody this strong existed. And then he erupts with power, comes bursting out, and Geekdom also mentioned this, and I did notice this. Geekdom mentioned this in his episode 11 review, that, you know, Goku, essentially, this is something we haven't seen. The God Ki essentially healed his wound. I don't know if that's something that'll be a factor later on in the series, if that was just a coincidence, what happened. But that was something that was really, really interesting. We don't know if God Ki can heal wounds. I mean, that takes the powers of Super Saiyan God to a whole nother level. I mean, it's just getting unrealistic. But then at the same time, I understand what Dragon Ball Super is trying to do. All the way from the transformation into Super Saiyan God, they're trying to show you that this isn't just another power-up. This is an ascension to the God level. This is a whole nother level that we've never seen before, which is why things have been more epic, more cinematic. That's why I like this so much more, because they're spending the time to do it. And, you know, they're taking the time to do it. Now, granted, they're not spending money to do it the right way sometimes, but hey, you can't have it all. But that's something that I hadn't seen before, and I'm sure we have in general not seen before as a community, and that's something that I think will be a really big factor going forward. But he erupts with power, and then, you know, he goes back out into space, and Beerus is just in awe, like, this guy is serious. And he's like, okay, so I'm not gonna hold back anymore. Show me what you got. And that's where the episode ends. So in the preview for the next episode, we see the Supreme Kai talking about how they are literally going to erupt. I mean, they're going to destroy the planet with this battle. So yeah, there's that. And like I said, we're going to have to come back and figure out why we stopped at Vegeta to talk to Vegeta. Supposedly talk to Vegeta. That's the way it looks. You know, previews are very misleading anyways. But, I mean, like I said, this was a great episode. This is by far my favorite episode of Dragon Ball Super so far. I'm going to give this episode a rating. I haven't been giving ratings. I've been giving them inconsistently. I will give this a 9.5. 9.5 only because I feel like I'm nitpicking. I'm not going to tell you guys why it's getting a 0.5. If you want to say 10, that's fine. I'll say 10. But personally, you know, 9.5. Anyways, be sure to subscribe if you are new. Follow me on Twitter at DFreeDBSHD. Follow my other channel. Subscribe to my other channel if you guys are anime/Nintendo/ Mega Man / Pokemon / you know, that type of shit. If you guys are fans of that stuff, my channel will be in the description down below. Be sure to click on it and subscribe. I need some love over there. But I will catch you guys next video. Peace out.
How could I? Is that all you got? I've never felt such power! Give me energy!